everybody? Richard Dolan here for a courageous conversation.
Well, man, today you're right. There's no going back.
How do you feel the weight of that desire?
I have been there for a while.
Story's still being written, and you cut the story short. As they say, I'm playing with house money.
They said, neo-fascist.
You can't imagine, Richard. I've heard everything now.
But I'll tell you what, you ain't never buying your time back. Value your time.
Once you start a courageous conversation, there ain't ever going back to an ordinary one.
I mean, that was easier for me. It came easier, but it wasn't as cool. So I wanted to be a football player and transferred to this school and this college and this one. And it just didn't work out. And I kept getting, pulled back into the arts. And I wish it was some master formula that I created to start 98 Degrees, but it was as simple as being at a party. Some girls asked us to sing. We were trying to be cool. I happened to know being a lot of barbershop quartets, and Boys to Men was prevalent at the time, and there was nothing like them and their harmonies. So I knew some of these arrangements. We went in a bathroom, parted out all the harmonies, went out and sang for them. And ignorance is bliss. We thought we were amazing. We got their attention. So the very next day, I was on the cusp of graduating finally. I called my parents and I said, hey, look, I just feel something strong about this opportunity. This is something that's pulling me in that direction. They had always been a fan of my music and my theater background and all that stuff. So they encouraged me, believe it or not. My dad was always a real stickler about graduating college. And back then, you had none of these forums. You didn't have Zoom. You didn't have the internet, really. You didn't have, Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube and Facebook to get your stuff out there. There was no American Idol, so you had to go to where the scene was. And for us, it was, LA or New York at that particular time. We drove to LA and started singing everywhere we could. Got a little bit of notoriety locally here in LA. Started getting in the rooms with Michael Jackson's manager, Nice Parker at Gallen and Morey, and labels and all this stuff. And then the guys I was with, they quit. They got cold feet. I mean, it was becoming too real, too fast. And we're from a small town, so I think that they thought that we were little fish in a big pond, which we were, and they went back to our town of Massillon in Ohio, and I stayed out here in LA, got an odd job, put ads in newspapers and all the local area entertainment publications, and interviewed guys. And it wasn't until I met a guy that went to school with Nick Lachey, who played me a tape for Nick, and I didn't even get to see him. I couldn't Google what he looked like or get on his social media. I just talked to him on the phone. I said, look, I've got these opportunities potentially with James Brown and Michael Jackson. And I kind of convinced him to migrate across country to LA. He brought his brother out. Justin came out, went to school with them, and eventually that became 98 Degrees. We modeled ourselves off of Boys to Men. So Boys to Men got discovered singing backstage. So we bought tickets. We scrounged up all of our money, bought tickets to a Boys to Men concert, snuck backstage, and got discovered by Montel Jordan, who was opening up, his road manager, and then eventually, just like they did, got signed to Motown. So it was like a dream, and kind of seen it into fruition. And you couldn't write a better script. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't believe it. But after that, we kind of just got on the road, put music out, and got upstream to Universal Music, who really backed us, had some great executives there behind us at the time. Monty Littman was a great one. He's still around. And George Jackson and the staff. It took a little convincing that we were in the same sort of demographic as Backstreet and NSYNC. They wanted to make us a really urban group. But eventually we broke and had a little bit of success, and the rest has sort of been history, so to speak. It's been a wonderful ride, amazing ride.
But before I just ask the question that just bubbled up to the surface out of your enthusiastic recount of your history, which just feels like yesterday, I have to admit, it feels like yesterday. I have to just underscore your love, your respect, and admiration for your parents and the role they played. And just because I know you a little bit. And I'm so grateful and blessed to call you at least a colleague, if not a friend. It probably says a lot of why and how you're such a great parent, that you come from great parents. And I just want to underline that part.